Well, hey, what's up everybody? Wanted to do a really quick, I'm gonna take my ear out. Wanted to do a really quick electric guitar, pedal board, and quick gear rundown. I've talked about doing this for like a year now. This is gonna be a lot shorter than other gear electric rundowns because I, as of this point in my career, don't make my own presets because I don't feel like I need to right now. There's a lot of really great worship stuff out there that will be linked below. Those dudes are probably people you've all heard of at this point, but like the Tone Shepherd, Tone Factor, which is David Hislop and Kenyon Reed from Bethel, Riley Thornton, he's an awesome dude, like in terms of his presets, and just the stuff that he posts is really quality content. So really solid dudes. Really quickly, I just wanted to make this because I was actually tearing down from this weekend and it was all set up, and I said, wait, I've talked about doing this forever. I could probably do it really quick and just have one. So basically, I try to have two guitars for every Sunday, just as an A and a B, so there's always a backup in case I break something. Most of the time I only play one guitar for a whole set. This weekend I actually did switch, and that was because there was some like 80s super chorusy stuff on our very first song. So well, I guess actually, now that I say it, let's just talk about the guitars. So my main guitar that I would say that I play more than anything is this 2024 Squire Jazzmaster J Mascis, which is his signature. And you see a lot of worship dudes play these, and there's a reason. They sound phenomenal out of the box. This is bone stock. I put my own strings on it. I always run the silver Slinkies, which is John Mayer's electric strings. They're 10.5s, and I just love the way that this feels. I love the way the neck feels. I love it actually stays in tune so well. You know, with a lot of offset guitars, people talk about it losing tune really quick, but it just sounds phenomenal. I love this guitar. So this is kind of my main A guitar, and then this is my most recent pickup. I used to have a Fender Strat that I love dearly, but I was doing some upgrading and I recently just picked up a Gibson Les Paul Studio. No, Special. I picked up a Special, and so I ended up selling one of my Strats to do that and bought this one to replace that Strat, and this is the Sire S3. So this is a relatively cheap guitar. I think it's only 450 bucks. This is a Gen 1. And the neck on this thing is phenomenal. I think that's my favorite part. That's why I bought this. I heard so many people say that they loved how the neck felt, and it's just so smooth. They roll the edges of the fingerboard, which is so sick. Like there's no snag. It's really smooth. And the pickups on this are incredible. Just incredible. Sounds amazing. Love this. This is the song, or this is the guitar that I played our first song. We played Hallelujah Jesus Saves, which is a KXC song, and it's got a lot of chorusy stuff, so I wanted that 80s Strat tone, so in that 5 position. Yeah, so love this guitar, but that's not what we're going to use to demo this stuff today. Well, I guess if I'm using a capo, it's the G7th, whatever, the one that everybody uses. Maybe I'll hold it to this one because it's a little bit nicer, but maybe down focus down here. But kind of the basic capo everybody uses. Sounds great. Love it. And then, I don't know, there's maybe some nerds out there going, oh, you're not plugged in. Yeah, I rock the X-Vive A58 wireless transmitter and receiver over there. It sounds great, actually. We, in our space, we cut out certain frequencies from our actual network and our APIs so that we have the ability to do wireless stuff. So our cameras, any guitar, obviously we rescan our vocals and stuff in our ears all the time. So let's talk about what does it sound like. Right now you're hearing everything going through our front of house processing, just because that was the easiest way to record without bringing a full interface and stuff out here. So you'll hear what we do to it, which is honestly not much. There's a little bit of dynamic EQ and a little bit of dynamic compression, and then a SSL bus compressor putting the two guitars from the weekend together into a gel mix. So let's hear everything dry. I will link down below all the different amps that I use. I run ToneX as my amp right now, single amp. I normally do stereo. I used to be on an ACS1 and I loved it, but I wanted a little bit more control, and it seemed like everybody was going to the ToneX route, and they're phenomenal. They sound great, and I'm really happy I made that swap. Right now, I'm rocking the Teddy Tones Head Coach, which is one of his matchless amps by Jake Falber. He also has his Redbird, which is a Phoenix matchless. So this is the HC30, and the Phoenix is, and the Redbird, whatever, is the Phoenix. Both of these sound great. For this weekend, I used this Head Coach and loved it. It sounds great. It's got just enough bite to it. That mid-range is really punchy and clear. And so obviously I've got my Deep 6 compressor, that's an always on, and I have this ParaEQ, which is another thing I actually found from Jake Falber, from his YouTube channel. This is a great pedal. We had a lot of, this is a newer building to us, and so there was a lot of just figuring stuff out in how our new system and our line array sounds, and so we had a lot of really high brights that just, we were told, need to break in. So EQ that's doing a pretty hard shape on the top end, and I typically actually will run this boost always on as well, and that just sounds like this. Just gives it a little bit of bite, and so that's kind of my dry signal always on, leaving it there. I do have my B amp right now is actually a Roland JC120, which obviously sounds totally different. It's a lot warmer, but that was, we did a worship night last week with our young adults, and there was once again a lot of that high chorus, very 80s sounding tone. So that's what my amps sound like with my compressors and EQ on. Let's go through some of the drives really quick. So next in the chain is my POG, just to do some octave stuff. So if we're here, I usually run that octave up pretty high. I don't ever play chords with it, I don't know what I'm doing. Also, it's never dry, so that'll actually probably be a little bit... Here, let's just turn some stuff on. So POG does whatever POG does. Then out of my POG, I'm going into my Kilt first, which ironically, this is probably my middle stage. I normally use this when I'm playing chord stuff. So an example would be like on the chorus of My King Forever. That's pretty heavy, but I like that one down here, just because I usually click it on and click it off whenever I'm playing rhythm stuff. My Wampler Tumnus, this is one of my lead ones. So you kind of get that little bit more of that breakup. And then my Plumes, which is just a tube screamer. This is what shreds. So let's put some of those with some wood effects. So if we're doing the Wampler Tumnus, you get the idea. Super, super bright. And then the tube screamer, which is just even more. Get the idea. That was a terrible bend. I don't even know what that part is off the top of my head, but those are the drives. All three of those I kind of just use depending on how much we're building throughout a song. I try to remember like chords, first step of a lead, bigger step up of a lead, Out of there we go to the Julia, which of course this is just a chorus. Turn the super wet stuff back off. Maybe. So the chorus. Just a chorus. Then I have my ARP 87, which is just a regular dotted. Sometimes I do double delays, that's why this is on the board. I don't often do it, but that's why it's there. So if I were to turn both these on, these are actually both 8s, but they're not. I do not run MIDI or tempo sync, so I don't have a clock on here. So like this, that's an example of when it would be really bad because these tempos are not synced. But if they are synced up and I'm doing something, usually I'll do this just as a dotted 8th, and then I'll use my LVX to do some bouncy and ping pong stereo stuff. Usually with like a quarter on one side and a 16th on the other, so there's just a huge bed delay. But so yeah, so now we're to the Meris stuff, which these are the brains kind of the whole thing. They do a lot of the modulation, all the reverbs, all the main delays. There's just so much that they can do, and it's really, really cool to pair them together. So just the, right now it's just a regular. It's a regular dotted 8, but then I have like, yeah, you can like break stuff up for cool swells. That's another Riley Thornton preset. I think actually all 3 of those. No, not that one. I made that one. But the beef stuff for the Riley Thornton stuff is phenomenal. And then this brown panel is kind of actually one of my main reverbs that I'll use a lot. It's just an emulation of a brown panel amp, Fender amp. And this is a Teddy Tone, so Jake Falber preset. It's very bright, but I love how it sounds. And if you pair it with like a cloud reverb, like what a lot of people run, a lot of worship dudes, you can hear the cloud is just way fatter and fills a lot more of that space. But you don't want that all the time. So sometimes you just need a regular, like if I'm playing chords, like that sounds huge on its own and doesn't really need a ton with it. So it's a brown panel that I use a lot. I do use this beef cloud stuff on a lot of like leads, like you heard. Just huge and luscious. And then I have more of these, Riley Thornton calls them the fairies, which I love. It's kind of that twinkly up top, so great for swells. It's hard to do with this camera in the way, but you get the idea. And so yeah, that's my whole rig. We do run the Radial Highline line isolators on the way out because we are using digital amps. That's something we require anybody that plays on our stage to do, unless you are of course on a fully, like if you're on a Helix, we're not going to make you do that because you just have stereo out through, I think, built-in line isolators. But yeah, that's kind of my whole rig. Pretty simple. I try it, like I'm not a guitar player first. I kind of just play utility guitar wherever's needed. I love to play guitar, but I recognize I'm not very good. I just kind of fill the gaps. So yeah, that's my rig, and I'll post everything in the comments, and maybe I'll do some voiceovers if I am watching this back and feel like I missed it. But thanks for watching. Stay tuned. I'm hoping to do more. I know I haven't posted in like months. Been crazy busy. Summer was wild. I did a lot of home projects. So yeah, see you guys later. Thanks for tuning in.